Over the northern sky of Syria, June 18, 2017. An F/A-18E locked its target in absolute silence. The cockpit air felt cold, clinical, and focused. AIM-9X tore forward, a white lance in twilight. A flare bloomed. The seeker blinked and wandered. 3 heartbeats later, the AMR-AAM slid off the rail. Guidance chirped. The missile bent, calm and ruthless. The Su-22 blossomed into fire and falling metal. Radios cracked. Splash 1 bandit. Brevity, then quiet. Not a celebration, just confirmation that the math worked. In this sky, the first to see decides survival. How can a 4.5 generation jet dictate a 5th gen fight? We go back 3 decades to a closing legend. The F-14 Tomcat was aging beyond economics. Maintenance hours stacked higher than mission hours. Salt air ate seals. Hydraulic systems sighed and leaked. The Navy needed daily launches, all weather, all seas. Not a poster. A tool that never quits. The answer arrived without speeches or ceremony. F/A-18E/F Super Hornet. Larger, tougher, colder by design. 20% bigger, 33% more internal fuel. A new airframe, born for steel decks and storms. 1999 entry to the fleet. 2001 IOC with VFA 115. Quietly, the fleet changed guardians without looking back. Power here wasn't glamour. Power was endurance. Endurance kept carriers dangerous beyond the horizon. Under titanium skin, 2 GEF 414 GE 400 engines waited. Each pushed over 22,000 pounds of thrust. 66,000 pounds of aircraft slid past Mach 1.8. Weapons hung ready, sensors watched like sleepless eyes. The AN/APG-79 AESA painted the sky with electrons. Tracks multiplied, priorities reordered in milliseconds. Air to air, then air to ground, with a thumbs movement. IDECMALQ-214 hummed, a shield of managed deception. The ALE-55 towed decoy whispered, "Shoot at me." Radar locks staggered, then died in empty space. The pilot wore JHMCS, sight became designation. A TFLIR made darkness readable, targetable, mortal. Block 3 turned the cockpit into a mission brain. 110 by 19-inch touch display replaced clutter and hesitation. DTPN chewed data. Patterns emerged from noise. TTNT stitched aircraft into a living combat web. IRST-21 hunted heat, not emissions. Stealth against stealth. The airframe promised 10,000 hours of service. Not a star on posters. A backbone in storms. On the deck, philosophy diverged from familiar rivals. Russia prized velocity and flourish. Su-30, Su-35. China fielded muscle from the Su-33, J-15. America chose integration, discipline, and networked timing. Every Super Hornet became a node, not a loner. Growlers jammed, Hawkeyes watched. F-35Cs slipped forward. Data flowed, decisions compressed. Windows opened and closed. One faint blip appeared. The kill box already formed. Coordinates, timing, escape vectors, pre-computed and rehearsed. Speed still mattered, but teamwork decided returns. At sea, reliability outranked raw performance. Can a non-stealth jet survive advanced search radars? The record answered before anyone else did. It already had repeatedly across real combat theaters. First chapter, Iraq, November 2002, no-fly enforcement. Low clouds, hard decisions, measured precision strikes. Then 2003, Operation Iraqi Freedom, Baghdad watched the sky burn. Hornets lifted, turned, released JDAMS on schedule. Afghan nights demanded endurance more than speed. 6-hour sorties, multiple tankings, Marines breathing easier. The rhythm, launch, refuel, support, return, repeat. Libya 2011, Operation Odyssey Dawn, jammers and steel. Growlers blinded sensors, Hornets walked in clean. SAM sites went quiet, one sector at a time. The strike group advanced like a closing fist. 2014, Operation Inherent Resolve redrew the map. Convoys flashed white on FLIR, then disappeared. Bridges dropped, depots flamed, movement slowed to fear. Through it all, Super Hornets kept the tempo. Then Syria again, that 30-second arithmetic of violence. The kill that silenced doubts in briefing rooms. A 4th-generation airframe, winning a 5th-generation duel. No American fleet sails without its Super Hornets. The arsenal evolved as oceans grew more dangerous. AGM-158C El Razm lengthened the Navy's reach, a stealthy, autonomous hunter of ships and signals. By 2019, El Razm stood combat-ready on rails. Range became survival, and survival needed fuel. MQ-25. Stingray stretched the arm of the air wing. 2021, a drone refueled a Super Hornet mid-air. A photograph. The future pouring fuel into the present. Every upgrade served one enduring thesis: keep the trump card ready to play. This jet wasn't built to win brochures. It was built to work, day after day. Wet decks flashed, crosswinds shoved, launches continued. The catapult slammed. The jet answered without drama. A sensor glitched. The network covered the blind spot. A target changed. The cockpit reconfigured in seconds. Buddy refueling turned a fighter into a tanker. Fly with a Growler. Air defenses fractured and stalled. The right question wasn't how fast. It was how long can it keep fighting? Logistics at sea proved harsher than any dogfight. The ship's wake wrote the cost of persistence. Legacy flowed forward through Block 3's architecture. A bridge, not a farewell, to the next era. A networked brain for distributed operations at scale. IRST eyes seeing without betraying their presence. TTNT links binding manned and unmanned into one timeline. Foundations laid for next-generation air dominance. Manned fighters with loyal wingman drones sharing one web. The F-35C perfected stealth strikes at the tip. Super Hornets still pulled the formation through the door. On time, on target, under control. Will 4.5 generation fade, or stand in shadowed steel? Will it hold the 6th generation on its shoulders? Night fell over the Pacific like a heavy curtain. Yellow deck lights washed the carrier in gold. Crews pushed jets into position with practiced silence. Tie-downs rattled, chocks lifted, hands signaled. Twin F-414s screamed, then settled into a heartbeat. Vapor curled off intakes, catapults hissed alive. No speeches on deck, just work that never ends. Super Hornets poised between survival and victory. Visors came down, gloved hands touched checklists. Frequencies confirmed, call signs cleared to launch. The bow heaved, lights blurred, the shuttle slammed. Jets vanished into salt fog and radar lines. Tomorrow's targets were already shifting in someone's display. The sky would remember the ones who returned. Headlines would chase the new and the shiny. The fleet would remember what actually carried it. The classified file felt newly unlocked. The footage looked cold, unsentimental, and true. Over Syria, the lesson still echoed. First to see. Over Iraq, precision replaced spectacle and noise. Over Afghanistan, endurance bought hours for men below. Over Libya, electrons blinded guns and eyes. Over oceans, range and fuel drew the map. Over carriers, discipline beat improvisation every time. The Super Hornet lived in those margins. The margins where wars are truly decided. Its radar cross-section wasn't the story tonight. Its network position was everything that mattered. It spoke in tracks, lat-longs, and timing gates. It fought with patience, geometry, and silence. It survived because it cooperated better than enemies. It killed because it decided earlier than enemies. That is not glamorous. That is decisive. The sky held its breath, then exhaled kerosene. Steel met wind. Heat shimmered across the bow. The horizon swallowed another sortie without ceremony. Titan defense remembers what the brochures forget. The sky remembers, even when nations choose to forget.